Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things. I am a little late in doing this video today, and I will explain what happened. In fact, I probably shouldn't do the video. It's after 10 o'clock tonight, and I have my light on. Usually I like to do projects and videos by the natural light, but we had a thing happen, and it's got me kind of all out of sorts, so I thought it would be good to just continue on with this video to kind of help me settle. We are moving tomorrow to my favorite place in Florida. We are staying there. We have just finished the gauntlet of what is the high season, December through April, where reservations are very hard to get, and we had to move multiple times each month. 1 week we moved 4 times in a week. So we are moving to a place that I would love for us to be able to buy property in. It is called the Great Outdoors, and we are going to stay there for 2 months. It's the same place we stayed last fall, and I may even stay a 3rd month. We'll just see where we're at. We do plan this summer to head to Colorado. Hub wants to go watch the meteor showers there. So we may actually start our trek in July. So what I want to do is do a coloring. I will share with the Stampin' Up colored pencils. I've just been on this colored pencil kick. So I'm going to start with sharing my swatches on basic white. And the reason why I have this surface so close to you is I'm going to do a little coloring on basic white just to get the feel of how these pencils handle being on such a very ultra smooth, no tooth paper. For me, it's a challenge to not be messy, and blends have been a really good solution to not being messy. But I want to make these pencils work in a nice, efficient way on smooth paper. I've pretty much had these pencils put away and haven't used them hardly at all, and I haven't used them at all dry. So this is a different way of using the medium than I've used in the past, and you can always mix. I'll probably do a video where I mix the blends as a base layer and then do some detail work. But for today, I'm going to do just one succulent flower, and then I want to share with you a side project that just gives you some good ideas to start thinking about how you can use your Stampin' Up products, the stamps as well as the different coloring mediums, to do other projects beyond cards and beyond 3D projects. So what I am finding with the basic white, you'll see I have one layer which actually shows a lot of the marks. I am using a very, very soft pressure. You'll see that's why I'm so close. I want to show you what it looks like when you're using very little pressure and you slowly build up your layers. And it's kind of a cathartic, calming thing to do, which is why I'm doing it tonight. And as I get to coloring again, I will explain the circumstances of what happened today. So the middle is with 2 layers. It's starting to fill up with some color. And then the far sides on the exterior, my strategy is when I want to do color matching, I want my darkest color on the outside so I can set it next to a color to see here. Here's a map, and it is light blue, and I want to maybe match that light blue. See, I can pick very easily which color is going to match if I can put the darkest color up against whatever surface it is that I'm trying to do color matching on. So I kind of did this more in a color order. I actually sorted them first, and then so you'll see that the color numbers, these are color numbers that are on the pencils themselves. I noticed that the colors are a little softer and not as intense. They are very intense. I did update my wet, which is on the Fluid 100, which is a very high quality artist grade watercolor paper that Stampin' Up carries. So you can see that the Fluid is solid ink. The first stamps are ink, and the second stamps are the pencil, fully wet, as saturated as I could get it. And then again, the third row is the Albrecht Dürer Faber-Castell watercolor pencils. And I finished color matching. The one that I had the hardest time color matching was the Balmy Blue. And the best color match to the inked Balmy Blue is actually Inktense 1210. So I went to Luminance and Inktense, which Inktense is another watercolor pencil. Luminance is actually a dry colored pencil. So with this, I now have my dry application and I can see the softness in the colors. I even took my non-wet, there is a colorless blender. Because I want to use the dry, this is the colorless blender that Stampin' Up sells, and I use these, but it is a wet treatment that will activate the pigment and is what produces these very vibrant colors. So if you want a softer, less vibrant look, or you just want to keep it dry, I would not use the colorless blender. I actually used the white as my blender. So the set that I have got, I've got a bunch of sets here because after I color this, I'm going to share my little side project. So you can use white, which I did use tonight, and then there's in this case, the Caran d'Ache full blender pen, which is all of the blending material with no pigment. So it's basically a non-colored colored pencil. So that's another option for you. The one I'm going to color is the Simply Succulents, and I'm going to color this little guy. Just to show you some color mixing, my goal is to use all of the greens. There are 3 greens in this colored pencil set, and the purple, and the white. The white is going to be at the end where I softly go over and do what's called burnishing and move around whatever of the pigment I can so that they kind of mix together nicely. And if there's any harsh lines, as soft as you try to be, you sometimes still end up with lines, unwanted lines. The white pencil as well as the blender pencil that I have here make really good tools to eliminate the white. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a completed one. I'm probably not going to spend the time to complete this because I want to show you my side project. I'm actually very proud of it. It is actually a planner. I had some very specific requirements for this planner, and it replaced the planner that I had been using that Stampin' Up carried for many years. They had the blue one, and then they switched to like a Calypso Coral one. Then when they retired it, I bought 2 more years of inserts. So I got 4 years out of the Calypso Coral one. All right, so this is going to be what we're going to color. And I've got 3 different greens. I'm going to start with a very light layer of the Granny Apple Green. And I hope this is a good angle for me to be able to color and show you what we mean by light pressure. And there are different schools of thought whether you want to go in the direction, a particular direction. For this particular image, I think just going in circles is the best way to go. And I am not staying within the lines. I'm just putting down a base color tone of the Granny Apple Green. I am going soft. I am trying not to get a bunch of pencil lines. I'm just doing a nice soft, and yes, I am holding the pencil on the side. This is a little bit awkward, but not too bad. And like I said, I have the finished version, and I would say blends are super fast. They are a great medium if you, they're really a great medium if you don't like coloring, because they're so fast and so easy. Pencils are less forgiving, and they are a very slow medium, and they're definitely for somebody who likes to color, like my team leader Libby. This would not be her thing. Blends have ended up being her thing, and she can get some really nice results in a very quick time frame. And you know, when I'm doing these kind of projects, they actually don't end up taking all that much time, but I'll show you some projects that I've done in my book that will definitely let you know what I'm talking about using the colored pencils as kind of a relaxation, kind of like people who you color in coloring books. It's somewhat like that for me. So here's what happened today. I was just thinking about doing a video. It was 6:30 maybe, and I'm at my window and I hear this sound and a crash, and out of the corner of my eye I watch a Class B, very small RV, fly backwards, hit a tree on just its slide, continue back, and stop on the road. And there is a man in it, and he hasn't got a shirt on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he had a heart attack. So I run out the door, and I call Scott, or sorry, Hub. Sorry, I had to take Hub's name out. I called him by name on accident. Yeah, my throat is dry. Okay, so we both run out there. He drug he had already hooked up and everything, and I didn't know what he was doing, but he's in his car. He's in shock. He can't believe he did what he just did. He's older, retired, and I'm like, are you okay? And I'm trying to get him to talk to me. I want to make sure he's really and truly okay, and he does seem to be okay. He gets out. He has no shirt and no shoes on, and it is pouring down rain. That's the other thing. We don't get a lot of rain here, but it was raining. So then next thing you know, this woman comes out from the passenger side, the door, the RV door. She was standing up in it, and she was very shaken. So we just gave them a few minutes to just settle down and absorb what had happened. And we had to pick things up and move things around. It's a total, the slide is just destroyed. We eventually moved it back up to their spot. I'm now going to add a little bit more color toward the where the flowers would be shaded, where they're forming, to give more depth. And then I'm going to switch, because I'm going to use all three of these colors. I've got garden green, olive green, and granny apple green. So it ends up that they had owned a different RV, had come here to this Thousand Trails, and he ripped off the awning of that RV last spring. And by the summertime, the supplier, the supply chain for RVs is really, really bad right now. So if you need some work done, it's going to be a while to get the parts. I'm going to switch colors now. I think I'm going to go to the olive green. Okay, so he ripped off the awning on that one. They waited 4 months for a replacement awning. The replacement never came. So they traded it in for this little RV that they have. And they've only used it a couple of weekends. And in their entire ownership of RVs, every time they go out for a weekend, they always end up having to take it to the shop for something. So it's so bad that Hub had to tape garbage bags on the corners of the slide, so that, because it's raining, so that it would be dry for them in there. And then the bed is just all broken inside because the bed is in the slide. And pretty much they're going to just camp here till Monday and then get it towed to their dealer, which is only an hour away, and they are Floridians, so that's nice, and they do have a home. And I just wish them well, and it just is a shock. And of course, we're moving tomorrow morning, so it makes me like nervous and unnerved to see that happen to them. But based on the stories that she was saying, I think that this does happen more often than not in their lives. And our lives are pretty low key, and we don't have a lot of crazy things happening. She would like to just not do the RV thing at all. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they're settled, and we got them as settled. They're right across from us, and it seems like all the systems work, but the slide, it does not. All right, so we've got two colors. I want to go in now with the garden green. I'm doing a little heavier pressure to get a little more of this olive green color nestled in for the shadows. And then the garden green. Always sharpen your pencils. You'll see these two are sharp. I cheated and did not sharpen this particular pencil, but I will grab my sharpener. I have, because I've been coloring so much lately, and my hands are so bad, I had to move on to a bigger hand crank sharpener that works I have larger barrel pencils, so only certain sharpeners work, and I found an electric sharpener that works for up to 12mm barrels, which is nice. So now this is garden green, and I'm just doing little tiny circles. Again, I'm wanting depth. I'm not in a hurry. This is not a technique I would say for people who are in a hurry, though if you get your technique down, you can do it very fast. I'm just not feeling like being in a big hurry right now, and want you guys to see the progression as you slowly add layers of color. And I would say, and this is a kind of a guess, 5 to 6 layers is about what these pencils and this paper can handle. I'm showing how to use paper and pencils not the way they were intended to be used, and I actually am pretty happy with the amount of depth I can get, and it's not really all that hard, but you definitely have limits. So there's that part. So I've got lots of different colors going on. I want to do, it's not quite as dark as it could be, so you could go in and just really get into those shadowy corners and work in some color to give it more and more depth, and just keep working it till you like it. I want to show the purple. Boy, my throat is super dry. So this purple is perfect for these ends, and it's a very sharp tip, and I don't want a lot, so I'm being very soft and very careful because this is a pretty vibrant purple. And I could easily overpower the green if I got carried away with the purple. So I hope that all of this, most if not all, you have been able to see. I should probably check and verify that I did not mess up. I see I had creeped along. Okay, so I'm not going to finish this because I want to show you the white. Which is the finishing touch. And it's what just moves the pigment around and has everything blending softly. So that is what our flower looks like without having the burnishing step. Now, one of the things that this burnishing step does, again, you just kind of color over everything with the white, pretty soft. You can add a little bit of pressure as you go once you determine how much pressure is going to be needed to make it look the way you want. Everything should brighten up. And if there are lines, this will have the best chance at smoothing them out. The burnisher is a little waxier than this white pencil, and so it will do an even better job of brightening it up. But I was trying to be able to do this with tools that you would just have from Stampin' Up. Okay, so I've only done that one half with the purple. And now I'll show you my finished card. But see, my goal was to have all of these nice greens kind of all melded together. And that, to me, is a unique thing that only pencils can do really well when you apply them in light layers. They kind of all meld in together, and you can see little bits of all three colors. So let me show you my finished one. Here is the one that I finished with more of the darks. So hopefully that will inspire you to try some coloring. You can probably see, if I get the right angle, that when I did the burnishing, which was done with the white only, I can see that I have burnished it to a shine. So that is how you know that you have got this surface completely finished to look like more like a painting than a pencil drawing. All right, so why am I doing all this? I've got this project. Let me set my surface aside. I wanted a build what I want day planner that was high quality paper that I could configure any way I wanted it. So I went with a traveler's notebook, and I bought a kit that included kind of everything to get me started. Like, it had the clip, it had this other clip that holds my pencil, it came with a pen, it came with these pockets, it came with these pockets, and then I added grid paper, dot paper, no lines, and lined paper. And there are different brands, different styles, but the base for the leather organizer and the base items were already in the kit all together. So then I have two Stampin' Up stamp sets. This stamp set is the calendar stamp set. I will have it in the supplies list, and I will show you what I use that for. And then I have a really old like icon stamp set that is long retired that I still use. And then I use skinny washi to separate lines in different parts of my pages that I make. The lined papers are my day-to-day notes, and I don't always do every day, but every day I write a note. I try to write the date, and then I separate it from the next day with a skinny washi. I have these left over from the Stampin' Up. This is, you'll notice if you had the Stampin' Up day planner. This is from it. And then I bought this separate. These are Post-its, and I use them. And I have been decorating this little bit by little bit. I plan on slowly decorating the entire thing. This is a craft paper, like our craft paper we had over the winter that carried over. I have been swatching my colored pencils that I plan to use in this book. I'm kind of playing around with a variety of different pencils to see how I like them. I've done some stamping, and this is retiring, but this was my first thing I colored. I used what are called luminance colored pencils. I'm not really sure, but I believe they might be the most expensive colored pencil that are sold right now. So I realized as I was using them, they were wonderful, but that I don't really want to use up my pencils, those fancy ones, in here. So I then started looking for a similar pencil with the same feel to it by watching videos, and I ended up buying a different set. And this is the second. This, you can see I'm halfway through this butterfly, and I realized, oh, I probably want to hurry up and get those other pencils. So I plan on making a Prismacolor butterfly, what's called Pablo, but I'm probably not going to get those between 3 weeks ago and today. They've gone up $56, and I'm sure it's the supply chain. So I might replace Pablo with some other brand. I do have some lower brands, and I don't even have the Stampin' Up brand, so I might try that on this craft. And I'll do a Brute Funer, which is a wonderful pencil that is very inexpensive, and I'm very happy with its behavior. It behaves closest to luminance. And then Polychromos. Oh, and I do have a Stampin' Up butterfly. This bottom butterfly is supposed to be Stampin' Up. So I will find another. I have a couple of other brands. So then this whole page will be kind of a sampler of different pencils and how they work. I have created my own calendar. I keep notes in the grid. I like to keep detailed notes back in the grid, and I have things like my budget and business stuff all back here in my miscellaneous notes. But I want to show you my calendar. Here is my calendar, and we've got some stamps from the everyday. I don't remember what it's called, but it will be on the supplies list. And I keep track of when we move. This is from January, and we moved and moved and moved all winter long. Even when we were at Wickham Park here, what is not showing you is that we stayed at Wickham Park for 7 nights, and we moved 3 times while we were there. And I am very happy with this grid that I created. It is exactly the sizes that I need. It isn't perfect. This box is bigger than this box because I kind of messed up. But I've got the whole year pretty much set up, and I'm very happy. And now I will share my latest drawing. So this is the drawing style that I really like, in addition to rubber stamps and coloring in stamps. So and the reason why I did the eye study is I don't think I've ever shared this with everybody. I actually lost my eye, or had it removed. It was a birth defect, and my left eye was never right. And I suffered through grade school and junior high, being teased and mocked, because not only did I have one really funny looking eye that didn't even have a pupil, but I had to wear glasses, and then I knocked my teeth out in 2nd grade. But I managed to survive all that. So I am actually here in Florida, and I'm having my eye replaced because the false eye that I have does not fit well at all. So I'm going to get a new one made. So I drew this eye. It was a tutorial with just music, with somebody drawing, and they tell you what pencils they're using, and you just follow along with what they're doing. And it came out really good. Anyhow, that's all I've got. I might be calm enough now. Thank you for sharing my evening with me and listening to me color or babble on about coloring and my very unplanned excitement for the day. And I will be sharing, I can't wait until the catalog launches next week, because I want to share what I do to create the new database entries for each catalog release for all the sentiments. So that's going to be pretty fun to share that with you. And I can't quite share it with you because I'm not supposed to open the catalog until it launches on, I believe, the 2nd. So anyhow, let me know what you think of my ramblings, what you think of the coloring, what kind of planner do you use, if you use one at all, if you can think of any other fun ways to use stamps. I do have here sitting right next to me some stamps I have bought specifically for coloring. This new set has beautiful roses, happiness abounds, and I love the sentiments. I have, of course, you already saw Butterfly Brilliance, and that one is fun to color. And then Hand Pen Petals. I've done a few cards with this, but I do plan on putting each of these somewhere in my book. I have lots and lots of craft pages to color in. And then there's this one that I just did, this small one, but I do plan on putting the large succulent cluster on one of the pages and coloring. Sorry about the light. I wanted to make sure you guys could see, but it really isn't the best for stamp sets. It's too shiny. All right. Be sure to leave any of your questions, comments, or concerns here on this video or over on my blog. Like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.